Princess Cruises is often considered a safe choice for seniors, and there's a reason for that. But not all princess ships feel the same, and not every itinerary delivers the same experience. So we're breaking down which princess ships seniors love, which ones feel dated, and who Princess is truly best for today. And the first thing you need to understand that in 2026, Princess isn't one fleet. It's really 4 different experiences sailing under the same funnel. You've got the brand new Sphere class, that's the Sun Princess and the Star Princess, which just launched last fall. You've got the Royal class, 6 ships including the Discovery, Enchanted, and Sky Princess. Then the Grand class, your Grand, Crowned, Ruby, and Emerald. And finally, the Coral class, the Coral Princess and the Island Princess, the smaller Panama Canal ship. Each one of these classes feels completely different when you step on board. So let's walk through one at a time, and I'll tell you exactly what to expect as a senior traveler. Now, these are big, beautiful new kids on the block. We're talking about the Sphere class, the Sun Princess and the Star Princess. Over 175,000 tons, about 4,300 guests, they are stunning ships. Genuinely impressive when you see them. But here's the deal. Big and beautiful doesn't always mean easy, and that matters to us. Let's start with the elevators. The Sphere class uses what they call destination dispatch. Instead of getting in and pressing on your floor for the elevator, you punch your destination into a touchscreen in the hallways, and it tells you which car to go to. Go to car B. Then you get in and there's no buttons inside. None, it just takes you there. Now, if you're used to stepping into an elevator and hitting deck 7 like you've done your whole life, that can take some adjusting. If you accidentally tap the wrong deck on the screen, you can't fix it once you're inside. And during busy times, right before dinner, right after a show, these lobbies can get hectic. Kids are tapping random floors. You get assigned car D, but by the time you walk over there, your cane and your walker slow you down a little bit, and the doors have closed, and you're starting all over again. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be prepared for. The ships also have 2 incredible entertainment spaces, the Dome up top and the Sphere in the middle of the ship. The Dome is this gorgeous open-air venue with tired seating inspired by Santorini. Beautiful, but the best views are up the stairs, and wheelchair access, while available, can create some bottlenecks during show times. The Sphere atrium is wide open, and the ocean views are spectacular, but because it's this big open space spanning multiple decks, sound carries quite a bit. If you wear hearing aids, the central atrium can be tough for conversation because of the echo and ambient noise. And one more thing about the Sphere class, the Cabana mini suites. These sound wonderful on paper, a private little cabana room between your cabin and your balcony. Very luxurious idea, but several passengers have reportedly said that the balconies actually open onto a public walking deck. So you're sitting out there and reading your book, and you may see joggers go by just past your railing. Not exactly the most private experience, but not a deal breaker for some guests who don't spend all the time in their cabin. If you have any mobility changes navigating through the room into the cabana out of the balcony, that's a lot of thresholds and sliding doors, and can be slightly tricky. Here's something a lot of seniors are going to want to hear about. On the older ships, your Royal class, Grand class, you could always buy a day pass for the Sanctuary. That's the adults-only quiet retreat on the top deck. Plush loungers, dedicated waitstaff, nobody under 18, $20 to $40 for a day pass, or a couple hundred for a cabana. It was the best kept secret for anyone who just wanted peace and quiet out at sea. Now on the Sphere class, that is unfortunately gone. The Sanctuary is now part of what Princess calls the Sanctuary Collection, and it's exclusive to guests who book specific suite levels or premium staterooms. No more day passes. If you're in a standard balcony cabin on the Star Princess, you simply cannot access the quietest spot on the ship, period. So, if peace and quiet is non-negotiable for you, and for most of us it can be, either book the Sanctuary Collection category or honestly stick with the Royal Class where those day passes are still available. That retreat pool on the Royal Class ship is free, adults only, and open to everyone, and that can be a real advantage. Speaking of the Royal Class, for a lot of you watching this, the Royal Class is going to be your sweet spot. 6 ships in this class: the Discovery, Enchanted, Sky, Majestic, Regal, and Royal Princess. They had the modern Medallion class tech. They've got the wide range of restaurants. They're big, comfortable ships, and the elevators are traditional. You press a button, the door opens, you press the floor, simple. The one thing I'll flag, and this is a design quirk that's been there since day one, there is no midship stairwell above deck 7. So if you like to walk a flight or two instead of wait for an elevator, you're out of luck in the middle of the ship. Everything funnels through the elevator banks, and right before dinner, those lobbies get packed. Just factor in a few extra minutes during peak hours and you'll be fine. But the real win in this class, that free retreat pool deck on 17 that I mentioned. Adults only, no charge, no sanctuary collection required, just a quiet pool where you can relax without the splashing and DJ music from the main pool. And for a lot of us, that alone is worth picking this class. All right, the Grand Class. The Grand, Crown, Ruby, and Emerald Princess. These are the traditional ships. Lower passenger density, more intimate. A lot of Princess fans love these because they feel like real cruise ships, not floating cities. And I understand that completely. But I do need to be straight with you about one ship in particular, the Grand Princess. As of early 2026, passengers have unfortunately reported some serious maintenance issues. We're talking air conditioning going out in cabins, and if you're sailing in the Caribbean without air conditioning, that is not a comfortable issue, especially if you're on any kind of medication that affects how your body handles heat. There have also been some plumbing problem reported and unpleasant odors in the corridors. And now look, every ship has a bad day, but when the reports are consistent, it's worth paying attention to. So my recommendation, until Princess confirms a major dry dock refresh, the Ruby or Emerald Princess give you that same Grand Class layout with much more reliable reports. And speaking of, if you're booking the Emerald Princess, avoid cabins P332 and P334 on Plaza Deck, Deck 5. Those are right above the stabilizer equipment, and when those stabilizers kick in, passengers report what they describe as shaking and a loud roar that makes sleep impossible. So for anyone prone to balance issues or vertigo, that's a cabin to skip entirely. Just move midship or up a couple of decks and you'll be in great shape. Now, I want to talk about my personal soft spot, the Coral Class. The Coral Princess and Island Princess, about 2,000 guests, transit the Panama Canal. They do the longer world cruise segments, and honestly, for a lot of seniors, these might be the best kept secret in the fleet. Why? Because everything is close together. The walking distances are short. They have true wraparound promenade decks. Flat, smooth, and perfect for your daily walk. You can do laps and never hit a dead end. The passenger count is manageable, so you're not fighting crowds for elevators or dinner tables, and the elevators are once again traditional and easy. The trade-off is you get fewer restaurant options. So on really long sailings, say over 2 weeks in some cases, you might feel some menu repetition. But for a 10 to 14 day itinerary, these ships are fantastic. Now let's talk about the Ocean Medallion. This is the little disc about the size of a quarter that Princess gives every guest. It unlocks your cabin door as you approach, it lets the crew deliver drinks to wherever you're sitting on the ship, and it handles all your onboard payments. It's actually pretty great once you get used to it. The magic trick is that you don't even have to think about it. The ship just knows where you are. But here's where it can get bumpy for seniors. The Medallion itself is simple. The app, however, can be a little challenging, and Princess really pushes you towards the app for everything, especially dining reservations. A lot of folks I hear from find that the app is confusing. The text can be small, and it crashes sometimes. Here's what I want you to know. You do not need a smartphone on a cruise on Princess. You can use the Medallion for your door and your purchases, and you can manage the dining and your schedule on the TV in your cabin or by going to guest services. You won't get the push notifications or real-time updates, but you will absolutely get fed and get where you need to go. Now, about dining. Princess uses a system called Dine My Way. The idea is that instead of fixed early and late seating, you reserve specific time slots each night through the app. Sounds flexible, right? In theory, absolutely. In practice, a lot of people see no availability in their preferred time slots. They panic sometimes and think they'll be eating at the buffet all week, but don't panic. Walk-ins at the main dining rooms are almost always available. The app just doesn't reflect that reality very well. But if you really want to skip the whole reservation cruise, and honestly, I don't blame you, look into the Reserve Collection. It used to be called Club Class. You get a dedicated selection of the main dining room, you walk in whenever you want, no reservation needed, and you see the same waitstaff who get to know your preferences. It costs a little bit more, but for anyone who finds the app stressful or who just misses the way cruising used to work, it's the single best upgrade you can make. It brings back that classic Princess dining feel. Now, on to a quick few things for anyone traveling with a scooter, wheelchair, or walker. Princess's accessible staterooms are excellently designed with roll-in showers, lowered closet rods, grab bars, wide doors. On the Sphere class, the Medallion even opens your door automatically as you approach, so you don't have to wrestle with that heavy fire door while steering a scooter. And that's a real quality of life improvement that I give credit to Princess for. The big watch out, however, is tender ports. If a port requires a tender, a small boat to get from ship to shore, and you have a standard or heavy-duty scooter, you are very likely not getting off that ship at that port. The captain makes the final call based on sea conditions, and larger scooters simply cannot be transferred safely. So, if getting ashore at every stop is important to you, prioritize itineraries where the ship docks directly on a port. Alaska's Inside Passage, the Eastern Caribbean, those tend to be the most docked ports. And if you need any help finding those, reach out to me on the QR code. Now, I'll be happy to go individually with you through all of the different ports that you can dock at. And since we're talking about Alaska, because it's the #1 Princess destination for seniors, a quick heads up about the rail excursion to Denali. Princess runs this gorgeous dome rail car, and the marketing photos show this big panoramic upper level. Here's what they don't always tell you. The upper dome level is accessed by a tight spiral staircase, and while there are lifts on some cars, those lifts go to the lower level. If you can't do stairs, you'll spend the ride on the lower level with large windows, but not the dome experience. It's still a beautiful ride, but you need to set your expectations. All right, before we wrap up, let me rapid fire a few things that'll save you some headaches. First, complete Ocean Ready, a digital pre-cruise process that streamlines boarding by allowing guests to complete check-in requirements before you get to the terminal. Upload your passport photo, your health info, everything. This gets you the green lane at the port, which means you skip the long lines, and trust me, standing in a hot terminal for 45 minutes before your vacation even starts is no fun. Second, do the math on packages. The Princess Premier package is now $100 per person per day. That includes drinks, Wi-Fi's, and gratuities. If you're not a big drinker, that might not pencil out. And here's the kicker. If one of you buys the package, the other person in the cabin has to buy it too. So for a couple where one of you doesn't drink, you're paying for 2 packages but only using 1.5. Just run the numbers before you click buy. And if you need assistance, once again, scan that QR code link and I'll be happy to help you out. Third, if you're bringing a mobility scooter and you don't have an accessible cabin, rent a narrow scooter under 22 inches wide. That's the magic number to fit through the standard cabin doors. Companies like Scooter Round rent these, and You can't rely on the ship's wheelchairs. Those are limited and reserved for emergencies. And fourth, for your stateroom, avoid cabins directly below the pool deck or buffet. On the Royal class, that's usually deck 14 or 15. Early risers dragging deck chairs across the floor at 5 in the morning sounds like a freight train through your ceiling. Also, avoid forward lower deck cabins near the theater if you're a late sleeper. The bays from evening shows can carry through the floor. The bottom line is, if you're an active, tech-comfortable senior and you want the latest and greatest, the Star Princess is a gorgeous ship. But book a Sanctuary Collection stateroom so you actually get to enjoy the quiet spaces. If you want the best balance of modern comfort and ease of use, the Royal class is your answer, particularly the Sky Enchanted or Discovery Princess. If you love the classic intimate cruise feel and you're doing the Panama Canal or longer voyages, the Coral Princess is hard to beat. And if you want the traditional grand class layout, go with Ruby or Emerald, just not those specific noisy cabins I mentioned earlier. The Grand Princess herself does need a little bit of love before I'd recommend her on this list. Princess Cruises is still a great line for seniors. The Medallion technology, when it works, genuinely makes life easier. The ships are comfortable. The Alaska program is best in class. You just have to pick the right ship for the right kind of trip. And now you know exactly how to do that. But if you want a little extra help, make sure to scan that QR code. I make these videos for seniors who want honest guidance, not sales pressure or glossy brochures. If you want a side-by-side reference, scan the QR code for the Senior Travel Guide. And next week, we'll be breaking down Holland America Line, ship by ship, and talking about pace, atmosphere, and who truly feels at home on board. Thanks for joining me today, and until then, happy travels and bon voyage.